ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Stats and Stacks podcast. We're here today instead of UFC. We're talking the 2021 NFL draft, baby. It's a few days away, and I can't wait. But instead of just hearing my viewpoints about it, today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to allow a guest on here. My good friend Tyler Robertson is about to join the party. We're about to get a real wild. Tyler, how you doing today?
Can you hear me?
Oh, absolutely, buddy. I can hear you loud and clear.
Why the fuck isn't it let me? Usually it lets me like call into these meetings with my phone, but it wouldn't let me. I just ripped out the Joe Burrow jersey first time wearing it, baby. It feels good. I got to get my new stripes here soon.
Oh, well, don't worry. We'll have some time to go ahead and talk about the Bengals, the Cincinnati Bearcats sooner rather than later.
Cheers, motherfucker.
Oh, you're keeping it classy with your Michelob. I guess I'll pop a good old Busch. I am in Ohio, so I have to adapt.
Oh, yeah. You're one of us.
So, I mean, right now we have the draft coming Thursday.
Hey, what's this better lighting? This or this?
First one.
This?
Yeah.
All right.
All righty. So, I mean, right now we have the draft, and unfortunately there are some pros and there are some cons going on here with the draft.
Did you introduce me or anything?
What?
Did you introduce me or anything?
Prior to.
Oh, shit. This is first-class service.
Oh, yeah. You're all right, loud and clear. They already know. The fans of the Stat to Stats podcast, they already know. The Tyler Robertson, former manager of the UC Bearcats.
Women's team, baby.
They wouldn't let him on the team because it would be unfair. So, we went the manager role.
Exactly.
We'll go ahead. We'll open things up here. Let's be honest. We'll just go through some players. See, you could give me a little bit of prediction of where you feel they'll land, as well as kind of like what their fantasy output is, how they'll contribute to their teams, things of that magnitude. We would start at the top with Trevor Lawrence, but is there even a reason to go over that? We kind of know where he's headed, don't you?
Do you think – I do want to ask, do you think that Urban feels kind of bad? Like, oh, I'm going to leave my Ohio State guy out there? Or do you think he's like, fuck him?
Oh, if you have sunshine out there, you go and you get him, baby. He doesn't care.
Can we talk this then? Because this is an interesting one. Because we obviously know he's going to be the first pick. But where would you rank him? So if you take this year's draft class and then – next to my man in last year's draft class, do you have Lawrence above Burrow?
Yeah, I do. And I'll tell you why.
My guy beat him head to head.
Listen. The difference is your guy was like 28 years old when he was in his senior year. Joey B, you still have, not only is Lawrence already the number one pick, he has room for growth. That's the scary part. I see Lawrence as more like you see the Sam Darnold effect where you just expect him to grow and grow. Lawrence is already at the Joey B level, and you expect him to grow just as much. That's just me personally. I don't know. I'm too busy with Josh Allen, unfortunately, the GOAT. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to toss Trevor Lawrence. We already know he has the playbook. We know he's going to Jacksonville. But there are some –
already donating to the fans. He's like donating to charity. I'm like, where the hell you get this like money? He's like, I'm going to donate 20 G's to whoever. I'm like, where the hell? Someone's paying him already.
Jeez. But there are some quarterbacks where we don't know where they're going. One being – Justin Fields, probably one of the most talked about prospects this year at the quarterback position. Where do you think he's going this year? Who's taking the shot?
Fuck. I think, to be completely honest with you, I think he's the second best quarterback in the draft. And I think that the Jets are going to pass on him, and I think the Niners are going to pass on him. And I think it's crazy. Justin Fields was the number one high school quarterback coming out. And I know that, high school rankings, aren't much of anything. But the guy produced in the SEC. He produced in the Big Ten. I mean, he's just a winner. The guy would have run a 4.3 at his pro day. I mean, that's running back speed. And you see he's doing the crazy off one leg, 80 yards. And sure, Zach Wilson can do that. And I don't put too much into arm strength, but the guy is won at literally every level. What is there not to like about Justin Fields? Tell me what there's not to like about Justin Fields.
No, I agree with you, Tyler. I think that a lot of teams are going to make a real big mistake. I think that he's going to go way in the later round. Some team like the Broncos or something like that is going to take a shot on him later on.
Do you think – so you got to look at it. You got to think that – so you're talking – you got to assume your first three picks – the Jags, the Jets, and the Niners are all going quarterback. The Niners are the only ones that could possibly take Justin Fields. Wilson's got the Jets playbook. Lawrence has got the Jags playbook. Then where the draft really starts is 4. If you're Atlanta, are you at least intrigued?
If I was in charge, yes. However, Arthur is saying he is not leaving Matt Ryan. It seems as if they're all trying to talk some sense into him, and he's saying no.
You know what season it is, though?
I know. But, I mean, even when me personally, if I'm Atlanta, I'm either trading down or I'm taking Fields because, I mean, the way their salary cap works, they can't cut Ryan this year. But Fields to me, you can cut him next year. Looking at the money, you can cut him next year. It's not going to be pretty.
He's going to have all kinds of dead money. But
yeah,
but I mean, if you're, it's smoke screen season, But at the top, I don't think. I mean, Atlanta does have a reason to smoke screen because obviously I don't know if they know who the Niners are taking, but Fields. From Atlanta, from Georgia. I'm not sure if he's from Atlanta, but he's from Georgia. Played his first few years of college at Georgia. The guy has all the talent in the world. You have an old, ageless quarterback that, is just – he's not getting them anywhere, right? And I think you have to determine if you're the Falcons, what state are you in? Are you in win-now mode? Because, I mean, they were – if you look at it, they're not a top 5 pick team. They're just not. I mean, their defense is bad, but they're not nearly – I'd say they're an average team. They're not, going to contend. And they've got to figure out what state they're in. If they're in a state where we're not going to compete this year, and with all the Julio Jones trade rumors, if they deal Julio Jones, why not just start over with a new quarterback? Get your guy in the system and let him sit for a year behind Matt Ryan, and when it's his time, go. I don't think they'll go that route, but I think you got to at least be intrigued.
I mean, if I'm the Falcons, I'm looking at it the same way as if I were the 49ers. You got to take talent. You got to take the shot on Fields because I feel like if you're drafting a Mac Wilson instead, you're basically drafting Kirk Cousins. And it's like, is he good? Yes. Is he precise? Yes. But is he that it factor? I don't believe he has it. And those two teams, he can sit a year. He can take the Mahomes, the Rodgers route where he can sit behind Ryan and learn. He can sit behind Garoppolo and learn for 1 year. To me, I'm taking the upside instead of someone like Mac Wilson, but hey.
Mac Wilson, that's a fucking Cleveland linebacker.
I just put Mac Jones and Zach Wilson together.
Hey, give me that guy. No.
I still take Fields over him.
I know we're talking Fields, but can we just transit? If I'm looking at a projection for Fields, I think he falls if the Falcons don't take him or someone doesn't trade up to get him. Bengals aren't going to take him, obviously. Dolphins aren't going to take him, although they should consider it. Tua fucking sucks. He's gone awful.
They're in the AFC East. They're like Tua. Stay there.
Lions aren't going to take him. Panthers, they just traded Darnold. The Broncos, you got to think it. Well, and two, what you got to think is, does he go before Trey Lance? I think Trey Lance could go before Justin Fields. So I think, if Denver takes a quarterback, it's probably Trey Lance. And then what is it? Dallas, New York, Philly.
You're going all the way to New England, baby.
You're ending up right at New England. So I think Fields is an interesting fit in New England, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone traded up, just because that's the nature of the business, and get your quarterback, and you can't just let him fall to you because someone else will trade up and get him.
Washington at 19 is probably licking their chops if they can trade up a little bit and get somebody. So,
for sure. Yeah.
I feel it. Honestly, we are what?
Finish your thought, and then we gotta fucking talk about this Mac Jones. I'm gonna have a field day on this Mac Jones.
Exactly where I was going. I was saying we already know Trevor Lawrence is going to the Jags. We already know Zach Wilson is going to the Jets for whatever reason. As a Bills fan, I love it. If I get to play whoever the Patriots draft, and I get to play if I get to play Zach Wilson all year, like, this is awesome. Tua. This is going to be
okay. I know we were heading the Mac. You almost got me calling him Mac Wilson.
Right.
I know we're going that direction, but I guess since we talked about Lawrence high level, and then I guess we should talk about Zach Wilson, just because that's in order. And I got a food delivery.
Oh yeah.
God, I'm hard. I got some tacos. Anyway, I think we should talk about Zach Wilson, and where do you see him among this draft class? Like, where do you, behind Lawrence as a 2, or do you have Lance, Fields, Mac even ahead of him? Where do you got him?
Overrated. I have this dude. I have every name you just mentioned. I would take over him.
Not Mac.
It's kind of like, I would even take Mac over him.
Stop.
I don't like Zach Wilson. I'm telling you, I don't like Zach Wilson. He's not good.
Dave.
He's not. He's one of these players that are exciting, but you just see, like, in the NFL level, he's going to make a whole bunch of mistakes, and I cannot wait to play this man. He is not someone.
You think he's Johnny Manziel?
No, not to that extent. But I think that he's turnover prone. Just some of even watching his highlights, some of these throws he makes, like, yeah, they look cool in the highlight reel, but in NFL level, like, half of those are getting picked off. Like, he's not right. He makes some, he makes some very young quarterback looking decisions at the college level. At the college level. At the NFL, he is going. I feel like, and it would.
Why does Trevor Lawrence get room to grow and Zach Wilson doesn't?
Because Zach Wilson's going to the Jets. And that's where careers go to die. That's
not with Corey Davis in town, baby.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know that Corey Davis and Denzel Mims are going to raise him from the dead. But it would be one thing if he went to an organization that was well-led. The Jets haven't been well-led since 1972. So, I mean, at this juncture, they're in some serious trouble. They're going to give him the Darnold treatment. It's going to be Darnold all over again. Same word.
The Stacks and Stats podcast. Wait, is it Stats and Stacks or Stacks and Stats?
Stats and Stacks.
Your podcast is going to lose credibility if you say Zach Wilson's worse than Mac.
He is.
This Mac guy, we'll transition to him now.
What?
He's not good. He's not good, and he has 3 number 1 wide receivers catching passes from him. Alabama's system is designed where he doesn't make mistakes. Once NFL defenses throw, looks that he's never seen in, this guy has no business being a first-round quarterback. And if San Francisco traded the house to go get him, I can't imagine what I would feel if I was a fan of San Francisco.
Well, the good news is I feel like San Fran traded the house for Fields. Like you had mentioned smoke screens earlier. I still believe Fields is going to San Fran. It's San Fran or Denver for me. It's one of the two. Either he's going to fall, or I think he's going to San Fran. Or
it could be Trey Lance.
Or Trey. Yep, that's exactly what I was going to. It's going to be one of those two. You don't trade the house for Kirk Cousins. You trade the house for Lamar, and when Cam came out, stuff like that. You're not trading
Cousins light.
What was that?
Kirk Cousins light. You're not even getting Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I mean, he would fit it. New England would love. They would love Mac Jones. They would. Oh my gosh.
Their penis be hitting the table. Bang, bang, bang.
Man, there'd be a whole bunch of draft babies if Mac Jones ended up going to the Patriots. I'll tell you that. I mean, that's where I see him going. Or even honestly, they're just a team that I know are taking the quarterback. Denver could take him as well. I mean, if you have Elway falling in love with someone like Drew Lock, I guarantee you he has a hard on for Mac Jones as well. So I think he's going to go. I know a lot of analysts were saying, some of them were saying he could even be a third-round talent. That's how bad some of the people think he is. But there's teams that are going to go out there and risk it. And unfortunately, he's going to go in the first, and someone's going to be making a huge mistake. And I'm praying it's the Patriots. I would love it to be the Patriots. My gosh.
As a Bills fan, you don't want to see Justin Fields twice a year.
No, I do not. I would much rather see Zach Wilson and Mac Jones, and whoever else. I'm trying to think. Well, Zach would be with the Jets, Mac in New England, and Tua. I would. Oh my God, I would. That's just give us the playoffs at that point. So I'm praying that he falls all the way to 15. That's my goal. I mean, there's only one more big name, honestly, when it comes to quarterback, and he's already been mentioned all over. I feel like he might be number one on your draft board the way you talk about him. Where do you think Trey Lance is going?
The way I talk about him, I'm not fucking 6 to midnight for the guy. I mean, what? He's a young guy. I mean, comes from North Dakota State, Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz, baby.
The guy can't even legally drink a beer yet. But he's a tough evaluation for me, because any guys that come from a small school like that, all you really get to even judge is the physical traits. You don't get to see him against any kind of competition. But then again, you got to think he's got no weapons, So physically, he's basically everything you want. 6'4", 230, can move. But how that translates, I mean, plenty of guys 6'4", 230, and how that translates to the NFL, I'm not sure. But all it takes in the draft is one team to fall in love with this guy, and they'll pick him. And it could be, do you think that – this is where I get stuck up. Do you think Denver's really ready to move on from Drew Lock?
I do. I think it's rough, because there have been a lot of injuries with Cortland Sutton and KJ Hamlin. Like, they kind of had a rough past 2 years with their receiving core. But if someone like that is still on the board, if he doesn't go Denver, I think my ideal place would for him to go to Washington. Trey Lance is definitely, out of all the quarterbacks we mentioned, someone that needs to sit a year. And if you could sit him behind Fitzmagic, let Fitzmagic see everything that he does wrong, and then learn from there. Trey's not ready to start. He needs to see some NFL games in person. A sure fix that he's going to have all year.
20 years old.
A sure fits that he's going to have all year, and then let Trey sit behind them and then move from there. Trey, Scary Terry, Curtis, I love it. Antonio Gibson, that team would be a little scary.
With the first pick in the 2022 NFL draft, the Washington football team selects.
It's going to allow it to happen. The only way that team doesn't success or doesn't succeed is if they can't keep Fitz upright. So they need someone like this next guy. With all these quarterbacks, going to need someone to protect them. So they're not really fantasy relevant. But I mean, the big men count too. So where do you feel who's going to, with all these quarterbacks flying off the board, all these receivers flying off the board early, who actually takes Penei Sewell?
If I had to guess, see, this is where I get a little pissed off. Is you got the Falcons. I don't think the Falcons will take Penei Sewell. I think they'll either go Kyle Pitts or trade out, or the Fields option we were talking about earlier. The Bengals, the whole world swears that they're taking Penei Sewell. But if I have a lock of any locks, you take Jamar Chase under 5.5. That's what his draft prop is at. You hammer that son of a bitch. He is going number 5 to the Bengals. Book it. Do you contribute to your 401k?
I do.
Take that son of a bitch out. Put it all on Jamar Chase under 5.5 because he's going to the Bengals, and we'll talk Jamar Chase. But so I don't think Penei Sewell's going to the Bengals, which is the popular route. This is where I get a little pissed. You always hear, as a Bengals fan at least, you always hear this banter, all the Bengals need an offensive line or Joe Burrow's knee's going to explode. One, offensive line has 5 guys. No one guy is going to kill you or make you. Another end is the Dolphins. Who do they have protecting Tua? Tua almost died last year, but all with the Dolphins, they need playmakers. Fuck you. Dolphins could go that way. I don't see it though. I struggle with the Dolphins. He could very, very well end up in Miami. So I think his high projection is 6. And then once you look down, I think if he's still hanging around with pick 11, did you see where the Chargers leaked they traded with the Giants to and then they took it down. So
someone lost a job today.
Yeah, someone got fired today. And for those of you who haven't seen it, it's basically the Chargers social media team said or posted that they've traded the 13th pick to the 11th pick with the Giants and with an additional pick, right? And what I could see happening is the Chargers coming up and getting Justin Herbert's old teammate Penei Sewell. I think it's weird to me that he falls out of the top 10, and I think someone could potentially trade up to get him. But with me having such a hard stance that he's not going 5, I think he could go 6 to the Dolphins. But then I also wouldn't rule out, the Lions. So I think his projection is anywhere. You would rule out the Lions?
Yes, 100. They are forced into taking a receiver. They have no choice.
Why?
Have you seen the receiving core?
Have you seen the Washington football team's receiving core? They didn't do anything about
it. Quintez Cephas is the Lions' number 1.
Oh, bullshit.
I promise you.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. Look at you when you look at the Lions.
I'm looking. Oh no, Deefy. He's listed as wide receiver 3.
Who's their one? Who they list as 1?
Rashad Perriman.
Yes,
the Lions. Tyrell the Gazelle.
Yes, they have no choice.
Oh, Khalif Raymond is nasty. Oh yeah. They're not. Your hand isn't forced.
They have no
7. Your hand is not forced to pick 7. You take the best player available. Who are they going to take?
They will be fine if Goff gets hurt. Believe me, they know. They know.
Who are they going to take? What receiver are they going to take?
We will get there later. Don't you worry. But I am on.
Wait to hear it. I will put my hard-earned money on that they're not taking a receiver.
Dude, hey, I am on the same wavelength though, which is the weird thing. I have him going to Miami as well. It doesn't sound right. It doesn't seem like something Miami wants to do, but it's something they need to do. So it's just a matter of them putting their needs instead of their wants. Miami's not one to do that, but I think they believe in Tua for whatever reason, and they have no choice but to try to keep him upright. If they believe in Tua, you got to protect him. So I feel like he's going to end up in Miami.
Well, how I feel is Tua sucks, and they need to do everything they can to get him killed so he doesn't ever have to take a snap again. They don't have to admit that they made a draft mistake because, God, he was probably out. I mean, we talked about Fitz. I talked about Fitz being garbage. Tua may have been the worst quarterback in the NFL last year. He's so bad. If you watch him, dude, he can't throw it 10 yards.
Washington's the only one with the worst QB.
Give me Taylor Heineke. God, he's bad. He's so bad. He's that bad. I can't imagine a world where he's anybody's franchise quarterback.
Hey, I just love that he's in Miami. I just let it happen. I don't want Miami to watch the podcast and realize what's happening here. So we're just gonna let them continue to go their Tua route. The only other big boy I would even mention is Rashawn Slater. And if you think Sewell's gonna drop, honestly, looking at it, I have Slater going way down. Or you know what? I do take that back. I personally have him going and protecting good old Sammy Darnold in Carolina at 8 because I don't see anyone else on. Everyone else is going flashy. Carolina needs to keep him upright. Do you think he's going to go to Carolina as well at 8, or do you have him falling even further down the charts?
I wouldn't be shocked if he went before Penny. He's got more. No, I think a lot of teams have him above Sewell on their boards. And the thing about Slater is he gives you 5 position flexibility. Sewell's a tackle. Sure, maybe you can try and get him to play guard for a year. That's a lot of the talk of the Bengals. Hey, he's going to play guard for a year while Riley Reef plays tackle and let him mature. But Slater can play all 5 positions. The knock on him is that he's undersized. So his arm length, and I know, if you can play football, to me, you can play football. But a lot of teams, his concern where they knock him is his arm length. But then again, some people have him above Sewell. So I wouldn't be completely shocked if he was the first offensive tackle taken. But I do expect, somewhere when you said fall way, way, way down, I think top 13 picks or so, there's at least 2 linemen taken.
No, I like that call. That's actually a really good call. I can see it, honestly. Looking at it, that's a pretty good. I'll go ahead and I'll agree with you there. I'll also agree with you when it comes to receivers. I know you are clamoring to get to the best receiver, and I'll give you the best receiver in the draft class. I would ask you where he's going. More or less, I'll ask you, does Jamar Chase have an immediate impact with the Cincinnati Bengals next year?
That may be the dumbest fucking question.
Or is he John Ross 2.0?
Steve, this guy is a man-child. This guy is a stud. What is Jamar Chase? Can Jamar Chase legally drink a beer? Yes, he can. As of March 1st, I just looked it up. As of March 1st, Jamar Chase could legally drink a beer. So you got to think, when he was playing with Joe Burrow at LSU in that 2019 season, that guy had almost 1,800 yards, 20 touchdowns in the SEC as a 19-year-old kid. Are you joking? That's video game numbers. The guy, he averaged 21 yards a catch at LSU. The guy is, he's built like a brick house. He's 6 foot, 215, crisp routes, great hands, creates separation. Like, if you don't hear my table right now, like with my cock hitting it right now, you need to turn your audio up, because this guy is a number one receiver. This guy is the real deal. And if you don't think that, you need to turn the podcast off. You need to stop watching football, because it's not for you.
Does Joe Burrow just stare him down the entire time?
No, he didn't do that at LSU. I mean, he spreads. That's the thing about Burrow that is way above any kind of, quarterback that's come out in the last few years, is that he's not your most physically talented quarterback. He's built, but he's no Trevor Lawrence or, Josh Allen. Yeah, I mean, he's not built like that. His football IQ is just off the charts. He can progress through his reads. I think the Bengals, I was reading something about how the Bengals were like the only team in the NFL that had 3 receivers with over like 100 targets. So, I mean, AJ Green had like 118 targets last year. I mean, he doesn't even, and the Bengals do run, and people ask, why the Bengals need a receiver. If Higgins or Boyd goes down, you're fucked. I mean, Auden Tate's not a number 2 receiver. And the Bengals run 3 wide receiver sets, the most in the NFL. I mean, if you got Joe Burrow who says, give me Jamar Chase, do you go and piss your quarterback off? Do you piss your franchise quarterback, the guy that you're putting out in front of everything? Do you say, no, we're going to go a different direction? Or do you give him his guy? You give him his guy. And the thing about it is, it's not that they're giving him his guy and that they're leaving this gaping hole. Sure, we
like Kyler. Kyler wanted CeeDee Lamb real badly. They gave him Hopkins instead.
Yeah, I'll take that. But I mean, the thing I hate about people when they talk is, because you see the mock drafts, I swear to God that people think that a draft is 1 round long. Like it stops after pick 32. Like it's just done. No one else can be picked. If you're not picked within that first round, you're not going to contribute to an NFL team the way that these mocks go, because the depth of this offensive line class is probably the strength of the class. And if you, in any draft, if you get people at the beginning of round 2, through round 3, you can find difference makers that can impact your team from day 1. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to chill my boner out here a little bit. But man, oh my, do I think Jamar Chase has an impact. 1,000 yards, tops Justin Jefferson's rookie record last year, wins offensive rookie of the year.
The funny thing is, I was watching a comparison video on kind of like who he's compared to, and I saw not 1 but 2 different people compare. They compared Justin Jefferson last year to Tyler Boyd. So just the irony that literally he's going to play with the same exact person. Believe me, I am not a Bengals fan. I have no problems with the Bengals, but I'm not a fan of them. But if they do not take this man at 5, I know I have to deal with him twice a year. Please, Bengals. Please, Bengals. Help out Joey B. Please give him the best receiver in the draft. Who's not the best receiver in the draft is the Heisman winner, Devonta Smith. And I think the Lions are going to take the bait, and they're going to go ahead and take 180-pound, 6-foot Devonta Smith for whatever reason. But they're
180 pounds.
Yeah, did you see the stat? They officially listed his weight finally.
No, you're wrong.
I saw it.
He's lighter than that.
He's lighter than that.
Yeah, no, he's like $165.
Oh, well, they put him at 80, probably 80 with pads.
He must have a huge dick if he's weighing 180.
Yeah,
That's when he's hard. Let's see. Devonta Smith. Wait, I'm just going to Google.
You're going to get something different every website.
Yeah, probably. Let's see. Yep, he weighed in 166 pounds.
Perfect. This poor kid. And the Lions are going to take him as their number one receiver. I guarantee it. They are that organization that just, a Heisman winner? They don't look at anything. They don't care. They're going to take him. I promise.
No, that's not Motor City Dan Campbell style.
Where do you feel he goes?
Not Detroit.
What's another viable option for him?
Motor City Dan Campbell's a tough motherfucker. He doesn't want that guy on his team. Let's see. Is YouTube going to remove me from my language? I could see him going. If you look down, the Eagles.
No, he's not dropping that far. There's no way.
Why?
If you think the Lions don't take him.
If you don't think the Lions take him, do you think the Panthers could take him?
No, because he's basically Robbie Anderson. They don't need to.
I'm not even going to ask you if the Broncos take him because they're not taking him.
No, they're taking a quarterback.
Cowboys?
Nah.
Yeah, we're getting really close to this Eagles at 12.
You got the Giants.
Giants, who just signed Kenny Golladay.
Yep.
So that leads us right to the Eagles.
You think Detroit passes on them?
Yes.
All right. Stats and Sex podcast bet. Guarantee you the Lions take Devonta Smith at 7. Guaranteed.
People, do not waste your money. If that's
guaranteed.
Well, hold on. Is there a prop out there?
There is for a first receiver taken off the board. I didn't look at Devonta Smith in general. I'm gonna see if I can. Can you give me a second to try and look? Yeah, go ahead. You take a look at him. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go ahead and look at the screen here. And you're saying the Eagles take Devonta Smith? I don't. I think.
Guess minus.
You know what I'm looking at?
Get this. Minus 112. Over under 11.5.
Easy money.
Oh, Jesus.
So if you think the Lions don't take Devonta Smith, do you think they're not taking a receiver, or do you think they're taking Jalen Waddle?
I don't think they're taking a receiver.
What do you think the Lions are taking?
They couldn't stop you and I last year.
Well, no one can stop me. I'm a fridge, baby. No, the Lions, they're not going to go into the season without a first-round pick at receiver if right now Brashad Perriman is your one. There's no way. There's absolutely no way.
Then let's, on this Stats and Stacks podcast.
Yep.
For the record, people, Deef's already having to pay my fantasy football entry fee next year. Due to a lost bet to me, because Deef is a donkey and said that DeAndre Hopkins wouldn't be a top 15 receiver.
Well, he finished 15. Or no, or was it? I don't even remember. Top 12. What did he end up finishing? Like 8 or something like that?
Hee-haw. The plate? Oh, yeah. I have to get
I'd probably say.
Hold on. Let's get a special guest. Kylie, do you think that the Detroit Lions take a wide receiver in the first round?
Yes.
Oh, good God.
There
you have it. It's not happening. If he says it's happening, it's not happening.
I'm telling you right now. So a wide receiver, not the Devonta Smith in general.
I want to bet this. I need action. I have to have action. You're paying my 2022 fantasy football entry fees.
Yes.
This bet. And if you win this bet,
so it's double or nothing.
Double or nothing.
Easy money. A receiver, correct?
What?
A receiver, not just Devonta Smith. You said they're not taking a receiver, so it includes Waddle. Because there are some teams that have Waddle.
I think there is. I'm not as confident in Waddle, but I think they could take Waddle. But I don't think so. I think if I had to guess, I would say they'll probably go Micah Parsons is one, or they could, they could go offensive tackle. I wouldn't be shocked if they, one, traded out, or if they went Penny Sewell or Rashawn Slater. So
I could see Sewell or Slater, honestly.
So I do not think, or a Christian Darrisaw. I think there is no way they take Devonta Smith, and I don't think that they'll take Jalen Waddle. So does Jalen Waddle have a draft prop? Let's see. Yeah, he does. Over under 10.5. So Jalen Waddle is projected to go a pick higher than.
Yeah, I've seen that on a lot of boards. It's like 50-50.
While we're talking receivers, I want to backtrack just to see what Jamar's prop is. If it's 5.5, it's 5.5. God.
What is it?
Oh, God.
Minus 120.
So explain to me. Over-under. So the over-under with draft positions has always thrown me off. Is if I'm taking over 5.5, does that mean 6 and above?
Over 5.5? Mm-hmm. Yes.
Or does that mean, hey, I'm going to be picked higher?
No. So, yeah. If they pick 6, nope.
So Jamar Chase under 5.5, minus 146.
that looks pretty juicy. I'm not gonna lie. So basically, Bengals and above. Oof.
While we're talking Bengals, let's get the Penny Sewell prop.
I see some with him going 3rd overall. That's crazy.
His is over under 6.5. So
they know.
They know. Vegas always knows. Book it.
All right. No, I'm with you with the Jamar Chase.
Didn't you say earlier in this pod that Devonta Smith is going to the Lions?
Yeah, he very well. And if not, they are taking a Alabama receiver. I'm telling you. You're laughing right now, but the Lions are a laughable organization, and you got to think about who's taking the pick.
Motor City Dan Campbell, baby.
Not enough. They're not enough. They need to get fans in those seats. You're not going to do it with Slater.
And you're not going to do it winning 3 games a year.
You will at the first game.
Into the stadium.
You're not going to do it with Rashad Pyramid. I'll tell you that.
Wins, not players, bring people into the stadium.
Yeah, well, they're not going to get out.
Okay, let me ask you this. Where do you build an organization from?
Quarterback.
They don't have one of those, so they may think they do, but other than
so who are we protecting? Why do they feel need to, if they don't think Goff is the guy, there's no need to protect him.
So when they actually get a quarterback next year, when they're picking 2nd overall behind the football team, they can protect him.
First of all,
if you don't have a quarterback, why are you going to give him all these receivers and fancy toys if he doesn't know how to use them?
Because they traded for Goff and they believe in Goff. I'm telling you that they're wrong.
What they got for Goff?
I'm telling you that
they didn't trade for Goff. They traded for the draft capital that they got with Goff.
They love Goff. Lions are stupid.
You have the smirk on your face. You know you're wrong. You don't.
They are drafting a receiver. And
okay, let me ask you this: if you send Micah Taylor out to drive his first car, are you going to give him? If you have 2 options, are you going to give him the Maserati, or are you going to give him the old beat up Camry?
I'm going to give him if he's driving it for the first time. He's driving it probably like past his high school, so I'm giving him the Maserati so he can look good. And that's exactly what they're getting, a Maserati and Devonta Smith or Jalen Waddle.
People, I promise you, if you're listening to this podcast,
okay,
please, I'm begging you, do not bet any kind of money that the Lions take Devonta Smith.
Hey,
this draft prop
receiver.
Double what you project it to be.
Mm-hmm. They're taking a receiver. Guaranteed.
Okay.
Guaranteed. I mean, the only other receiver.
Thanks for my 2022 draft fees.
The only other receiver we could even talk about is Rashad Bateman. I mean, at that point, if you're thinking that Smith falls and Waddle falls, where the hell is Bateman going? Second round?
No, because you get the guys, the good teams in your late 20s going into the 30s who can literally take best player available. They can take need. They can do whatever they want. So at the beginning of the draft, when you're picking top 10, you're picking premier players. So after that, though, you get teams that will start reaching. That's when you see your most common reaches or what the public perceives as reaches as you go into the second half of the first round. I think you will see a run on receivers because I do think, I mean, you can lock it in that Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, Jamar Chase, all of those guys are going to go in the first round. And I think that you could make a case that like a Rondale Moore or Rashad Bateman, even a Kadarius Toney, if you gave him, like, I have a source that's very close to me that says that I trust, that says he's more explosive than Kyle Pitts. So his name's Bean, so take that for what it is. But anyway, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Kadarius Toney went like, 32 to the Bucs. You give Tom Brady another toy because I don't even know if Antonio Brown is coming back yet. So they could give him just like another toy to play with in Tampa Bay. So I wouldn't be shocked if, 5-6 receivers taken in the first round.
What about this? This is going to sound a little odd. Do you think there's a chance he goes to Chicago? I heard they were shopping Anthony Miller around, and who knows what's going on with A-Rob. It does not sound like he wants to play there. He just had to take the tag. So they know that he's probably leaving next year. Do you think that's a viable spot for him?
What kind of store are they running where someone would want to buy Anthony Miller?
Well, there's a reason he hasn't been traded yet.
Because no one wants him. No, I think
this was the word want.
No, I think they could easily take a receiver. I don't think they will, though, because they're playing. I mean, why, going back to my Detroit scenario of why give this Jared Goff a weapon or Andy Dalton a weapon if that's not your guy, right? You can build in other places. I think the teams that are trying to get weapons have their quarterback in place. You don't need to draft a weapon if you don't believe that your quarterback's going to be your quarterback for the next 5 to 10 years, because then you're just wasting years if you don't have a guy that's going to get it to him. So I think the Bears honestly try and replace, didn't Kyle Fuller move on or something? Mm-hmm. I think the Bears could go that route because there's a lot of talented corners in this year's draft, very top heavy, because you got your J.C. Horns, the son of Joe Horn. They're actually two sons of former NFL players. Patrick Surtain II is there. You got your Greg Newsome's. You got your Caleb Farley's, a bunch of different guys that can play corner. I don't think that the Bears, for what I was just explaining, go receiver.
And, it's very, very crazy that you had just gone into a corner run, because that's exactly where we were headed. Again, it's not very fantasy relevant, but for the draft purposes, it is very important. You need to know who's getting covered by who, where they're at. And honestly, my number one is Patrick Surtain, like some people. Do you feel he goes all the way down in Bears territory, or think someone's going to pull the trigger a little earlier?
No, I don't. And no, I see him. I think Patrick Surtain, if I had to guess where he goes, I'd say Dallas.
Exactly where I was at. That's exactly what I was thinking.
They lost Cheeto Awuzie to the Bengals. Not that he's anything special, but they need someone. They can't cover anybody. So I think the Cowboys are going corner. What corner they take
No matter
could be
what.
J.C. Horn, could be Surtain.
They're going to have their pick.
Maybe. I think the Panthers could go that way. The Panthers, remember, if you just look back a year ago, I think they're the team that went only defense.
Yep.
Like they're trying to rebuild that defense. So I think if there's a premium corner there for the Panthers, I think they'd have to take a long, hard look at it.
Their division, they need one. Honestly, they need two in that division.
And you got to consider that,
yeah.
like what division you're playing in. So I think the Carolina Panthers could easily go corner. And I think if I had to guess who goes first, I'd say J.C. Horn, but I don't say that.
Goes first? You think he goes over Surtain?
I do. Mm-hmm. And in this type of year where you have limited tape, whether a guy's held out or whatever the case may be, I think that their measurables in the, your pro days and getting in front of these people matter more than they typically would. And J.C. Horn just tested off the charts. He's got football pedigree, played, and same goes for Surtain with, playing in the toughest division or conference of college football. But and it's no strong lean or anything, but if I just had to guess, they're both built similarly. And if I had to guess, J.C. Horn, but I don't say that with extreme confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of people say that. I mean, J.C. Horn is another one where they always have him going second. We all know Dallas is taking a quarter no matter what. And a lot of people everyone has Surtain going first. And obviously a lot of them have him going to Dallas. And then I've seen a lot of mock drafts where J.C. Horn's going to the Eagles. They don't necessarily have to get a receiver. They're bad everywhere. So, I mean, they do need help. They do need help back there. So I could see it's a liable option for them to kind of go back to back with cornerbacks there. Not back to back, but between a few picks. Do you think the Eagles lean more towards a corner or towards a receiver?
Receiver.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, I can see they need help at both locations. So.
Yeah. But I wouldn't be shocked. I was just looking. Patrick Surtain over under 10.5. J.C. Horn over under 12.5. So
that's exactly where they have it.
Yeah. They do have them going 10 and 12 with Surtain going to the Cowboys and then J.C. Horn going to the Eagles. So I wouldn't be shocked if that's the outcome. But the thing with this is we can predict this all day long, but there's going to be some team that trades up into the top 10 and ruins the whole thing. and it's a waterfall from there. So all it takes is for you to really fall in love with the guy and go get him. And it's game over, screws up every mock draft in the world.
Or you have this case of Caleb Farley falling because of injury. And I promise you, if this dude falls all the way to 30, which a lot of people are saying he can fall to 30. If you really look at the list here, there's not a slew of teams that need the fourth cornerback off the list. There is a high probability. I'm looking at the two teams we just mentioned. Minnesota could use a corner. I don't know if they're going to or not. They're kind of a stupid franchise as well. You look at another team I saw taking Tennessee Titans. I've seen taking corners. I've seen the Browns taking corners. But even if, say, all of them take a corner, it depends on where Caleb goes. Because, like you said, you have Greg Newsom. It's a pretty strong corner class. No one's really talking about how many tier 1 corners there are. And I think Caleb, if it wasn't for his injury, might be a top 10 pick. He might be the best if it wasn't for his back injury. So if he falls, I mean, do you see him falling that far, or how many corners do you think you have in front of him?
If you're looking at pick 30, you could be looking at another son of a former NFL player with Asante Samuel Jr.
I'm fine with that too.
Who could go to Buffalo, and that's the luxury that you get if you're picking 30th. Hey, if you want a guy, you don't necessarily – the team's picking 26 through 32. they don't have many holes, and they can just pick whoever they think is the best player available, regardless of position. So I do see that as an option for Buffalo, but I don't think Caleb Farley makes it to 30.
I've seen a lot recently with him going to the Browns right at 26. So I'm going to be sweating that.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know what's
Why
happening.
Haven't they spent a lot of draft capital on corner? I mean, they have
Ward, they have Greedy. Didn't they draft a safety?
Just seems like they've spent a lot of draft capital. I could be wrong, but
I know it does. And recent too, like back-to-back drafts. I don't understand why but it's been a trend the last 2 weeks. It's really odd. I don't know what I'm missing. If there's an underlying story that I'm not aware of, I don't follow Browns media, nor do I care to. I don't think people in Cleveland want to follow Browns media, so we'll see. And then, I mean, here's a polarizing figure for you. Kyle Pitts, like you said, one of the most explosive people in the draft. But to me, I think it's stupid for Atlanta to take him. If I'm Atlanta, I'm doing everything I can to trade back. But would anyone actually trade up for Kyle Pitts? Like, who would want – where is he going?
I can give you 32 teams that would want that fucker.
Really?
What do you mean?
It just, to me, feels odd trading up for a tight end unless you're like in the –
You just said if you're Atlanta, you wouldn't take him. So, obviously, you don't feel comfortable with Atlanta taking him.
Not at 4, I don't. With Atlanta's needs, I don't.
I have no reaction.
They need to trade back. If I'm Atlanta, I'm trading back.
Oh, no. That I mean, obviously that gives you the best, you know.
I feel like they more draft. And that's why I'm asking who trades up for him then.
He would go 6. If Bengals go Jamar Chase, he'd go 6. He's probably, I mean, my bias aside, he's probably the 3rd best player in this draft.
Do you think they give up on Gesicki that quick? I mean, he looked okay.
What do you mean give up? When you're adding a guy like Kyle Pitts, you don't have to give up on anyone. You're adding a freak of nature. That's
to share targets?
What?
To share targets?
Who else is Gesicki sharing targets with?
No one. That's the point I'm saying he's going to with Kyle Pitts if he goes there.
No, but I'm saying even from other than Devontae Parker from a receiver base.
Oh, you're saying who else is?
Kyle Pitts is not a tight end. If you're looking at Kyle Pitts, he's not a tight end. He's labeled a tight end, but he's not a tight end.
You think they're just going to play him everywhere?
Yes. He's not. He's not an inline play. He is a freak. I mean, the guy's 6'5" and runs at 4'3", 250 pounds.
I don't know.
God, if I wasn't taking Jamar Chase, I'd run to the podium with his name.
I mean, I don't see Atlanta needed him. If I'm Atlanta, I want to trade back.
But yeah, if there's no one coming to get any quarterback, though, no one's coming to get Kyle Pitts.
That's what I was saying. Like, I want Atlanta to trade back.
No one's coming to get him, but it's not because that it's Kyle Pitts that they're not. I mean, if he got to 5 or 6, someone's coming to get him. If they want to load up, I would load up. If I was, in a team of one last piece, this guy, I mean, you can probably hear the table pounding from here, but he's 1B to Jamar Chase for me. I would, if the Bengals picked him, I don't think the Bengals can go wrong. I think the draft, so I'll go.
They haven't been able to go wrong in 28 years.
Fuck off. So the draft starts at 4, right? That's the draft where it starts. And so, but then 5 is really where it turns because, the Bengals could go. I've heard Pitts, I've heard Sewell, I've heard Chase. In Cincinnati, there's all kinds of different opinions. I think at the end, Chase will be 5. But then 6 is where, anywhere from 4 to 6 really sets up the whole entire first round.
They get the leftovers. But Miami is fine. No matter where Cincy goes, Miami will be happy. Like, oh no, they grabbed Chase. I have to go get Kyle Pitt. Like,
well, that's the same thing about the Bengals though. Wherever the Falcons go, if Falcons and with like Julio Jones trade rumors and
so basically after 6 is when all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, because then you're out of your premier players because you got your quarterbacks who are going to go. And then outside the quarterbacks, you have 3 premier players. You got Kyle Pitts, you got Jamar Chase, and Penei Sewell.
And Devonta Smith.
This is one of your worst.
Dude, I cannot wait. I cannot wait until the Lions take a receiver. I cannot.
No, you're dying on the Devonta. Okay, our bet doesn't have to be on it, but you said Devonta Smith.
I do think they're going to.
You said it's a lock.
I'm not saying that I would take Devonta Smith. I'm telling you, I think the Lions are going to take Devonta Smith.
That is generous to call that a lock.
Yeah, I'm telling you. They don't make – there's no rhyme or reason to the Detroit Lions. I'm telling you right now.
Okay.
They're going to do it.
Once you lose this bet to me, when Devonta Smith is not the pick, you need to come back onto this podcast and tell me that I was right.
Deal. If I am wrong, I will make an entire video saying that I was wrong.
Okay.
Easy.
I appreciate that.
I mean, just a few more picks that no one really – like Kwity Paye, I mean, where do you really – one, do you care? 2, where is he is he the first one taken off the board?
Well, I do think the rumor about him, have you heard the rumor about him?
No. What happened with him?
I heard he's got the biggest dick in the class. That guy's
Serge Ibaka style. He's got a baby.
Just fucking run. It's his third leg. Just fucking runs down his drawers. No, I like Kwity Paye a lot. I think Kwity Paye's a fucking stud. I'd take Kwity Paye if I think the Bengals should fucking take them all. Trade all their picks to get Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, Kwity Paye. Take them all. Oh God, Kwity Paye is. I mean, at the beginning of the year, he was projected round 3.
Yeah, he's one that's rising. Like,
and now he's just fucking driving up draft boards, and I think he's an impact player right off the bat. I fucking love the guy. I don't know where he'll go, but I think the guy's a fucking stud.
Now, I've also seen a lot of mocks where everyone and their mother thinks that Dallason's a draft the DB, but at the same time, I see a lot with them taking Jalen Phillips. To me, I'm getting Jordan Reed vibes where he could be one of the best at his position in the league, but
Reed vibes.
Yeah, because all it takes is one when it comes to concussions. This dude, if this dude takes a blow, like Jordan Reed dominates as a tight end, but you knew if he takes one, he's going out. And Jalen Phillips, I think, is a top 10 pick. It's just, does the injury concern you to the where you have to?
Did you ever have a concussion while wrestling?
Not that I ever got diagnosed.
Do you think you had one?
I might have, yeah.
That's what went wrong with your Devonta Smith pick. I knew it. It's been all downhill. There had to be some reason that you thought that. It was your concussion, but yeah, you're right. Concussions can fuck people over for sure.
He is, yeah. So if you have to trade schools in college, they're really concerned about you in NFL. So, I mean, I've seen him dropping all the way to the second round in some, and then he's starting to shoot all the way back up to where he's.
Didn't he quit too? And it's not like he
they made him. For his concussion.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, screw that. I'm transferring schools, and went off.
Isn't something weird about him too, where he's the guy? I think Jalen Phillips is the guy that the scouts don't know if he loves music or football more.
Yeah, he said he's going to retire and be a musician.
It's not like a Kyler Murray, we're like, oh, this guy's going to be a first round in the MLB or the NFL. It's this guy fucking loves hitting his drumsticks.
He just likes talking about it just in case. If he does get a concussion, he has something to fall back on.
Jesus Christ. No, but I think with the edges, like with the Kwity Paye's and the Jalen Phillips, it's really just going to be based on scheme and fit to the organization. They could all, I mean, if you probably asked 10 GMs, they'd probably tell you 10 different orders of how they rank the edges because you got Jalen Phillips, Kwity Paye. They got the linebacker from Notre Dame. You got the kid, the one kid from Miami,
Rizzo,
Rizzo. I don't know how to say his name. A lot of intrigue behind him. Yeah. So a lot of the thing about the edges is, and you got the guy from Penn State too, Jason Owa or whatever, however you pronounce his fucking last name.
I can't pronounce any of their names.
Yeah, no,
that's how you know they're good.
Fuck yeah, they're confusing. But anyway, the thing about them is we've gone through all these guys. They're all mysteries. They've all got question marks, but they all got upside. So that's why I'm saying there's not a consensus like, oh, this guy is number one. You could go on draft night, you're going to probably see people tweeting out like, why the fuck would they take him? People are going to have people ranked a lot differently. And I'm not going to be shocked when people preach on those players.
I agree. I mean, just to get back into I know we just talked corners and we talked defensive ends, but I mean, when you really look at your team, you said, where do you start it? I said the quarterback. The new age right now is the thing you do is not pay your running back. So who you draft is really, really important. So, I mean, right now, before it was Travis and Najee, it was back and forth on who was the one. Now I think Najee is pretty much the consensus one. So who's going to be the one to take
what did it for you? Him driving like 15 hours to go to his pro day, which he wasn't even partaking in? Is that what did it for you?
For me, yes, but I think it was for a lot of experts are all like, I honestly, ever since that day,
who's an expert? Who are these experts?
People I'm following on CBS, on ESPN.
I'm going to stop you in your tracks, and you're going to admit you're wrong here on the CBS or on this Stats and Stacks podcast. You're going to admit to what you just said is wrong.
What? You don't see Najee at number one?
No, I'm not talking about that. I asked you who the experts were, and you said the people on CBS. Would you like to recall our CBS text message exchanges during the coronavirus of their wild ass?
Will Brinson doesn't count. He's out of control.
Those guys are dumb.
Not all of them are.
They do stuff for clicks.
Jamie Eisenberg is fine. You look at. There's a few. Just exclude Will Brinson because he was taken to a number one. So he's lost all credibility for about a year time.
And he's going right back to the well, baby.
He probably, he's still running to the podium saying, I'm taking to a number one. He's not even in the draft. But, I mean, most people do have Najee going number one now. And if you agree, who takes the shot?
The running back's always going to be a tough evaluation for me. The Packers could get funky for Wolfrey and take another one just to be funny. You could look at who's playing running back for the Jaguars.
It's actually our undrafted buddy Robinson.
Oh yeah, that guy's a fucking stud. Forget what I said.
Love that guy.
They're not taking his ass.
Dude, honestly, me personally, I have him falling all the way to 24 to Pittsburgh.
Good
James
God.
Conner to sign with the Cardinals.
I don't know if any of them are going to be taken in the first round.
They will. I guarantee you they will.
Why?
And it's going to be late. Just like you said, when you start just taking best player available from like 25 on, Pittsburgh needs a running back badly. They're going to take one.
Go to the street. You can find a running back.
They don't care. They're going to get a Najee and they're going to pay him nothing for 4 to 5 years.
I bet that's – let me look up the Najee prop. I would guess you're probably – where does Steelers pick 24?
Yeah.
He's 25 and a half.
Yep. That's exactly where he's going to go.
So stupid.
I mean,
why though?
Parents, don't let your kids be running backs. It's not.
Travis Etienne is 31 and a half for what it's worth.
I know, because I know exactly where a lot of people think he's going. to the future
Super Bills. Nobody circles the wagon.
But in all honesty, me personally, I would love Travis, but I don't. That's not my need. We need a corner.
God, how many? Since you're a Bills fan, how many fucking running backs are the Bills going to take over the next 5 years?
We like taking them in the third round. We're thinking maybe we'll try first.
Why?
See how that works.
Third round is a valuable pick.
I agree. They're not working out. That's why I don't want them. I don't want Travis. I want Caleb Farley, and I think he can fall. That's who I want. That is my man. If Caleb does not fall to us, I'm fine with them taking an edge. I'm fine with them taking Asante Samuel. And then Travis.
You need Devonta Smith out there in Buffalo.
We need a receiver, but I mean,
go get you Devonta Smith, Deefy.
We're good. He's gonna be gone at pick 7. So if we could, we would. No, I could see him go. And if he doesn't go to us, honestly, we're going second round. I think there's only going to be one running back taken in the first round. I
swear though, like every year, I feel like pick 31 and 32 are traded.
They are.
And those teams won't, I mean, because those are your teams in the Super Bowl and they've got everything under the sun and they're just wanting more picks to build depth. So you could easily see a team come back into the first round and grab one of them guys and not have to give too much up to do it.
What my dream draft is if we can get Caleb Farley, give us, or even if it's not Caleb, get us one of the top corners and then go back and see if he falls. If Javonte Williams is still sitting there in the second round at that late or trade up a little for him, I'm okay with it. I mean, at that point, it's not like we have a major need anywhere. Running back is a hole. We're a touch under sufficient. Like we're not the worst, but we could be better. And at that point, if you're talking second round, go up instead of third. It's not working out. Let's try the second round and see if that one works out a little more.
So fucking stupid. We're just gonna keep drafting them. Why? Yeah. And why do you consider a running back bust after 1 year?
Well, Singletary's been there too, and Zach Moss has
been there 1.
Yeah, but he's coming off an injury, and it was a pretty bad. I don't like the injury, so we'll see how he reacts.
Wait a second.
I don't like it.
The show.
I don't like it. It's a bad ankle injury, bro.
Have you evolved as a person?
Yes, very much so.
So this is coming from the man. I had this.
If you're gonna go Arian Foster, I swear to God, he was a different being. That man was not normal.
No,
he was the GOAT.
This is coming from the man after Arian Foster had like 1 leg, swore upon Arian Foster was like the best thing since fucking Jesus Christ.
You got him late, bro. I got him so late.
1 injury to Zach Moss, the deal's off.
No.
So what happens when Travis Etienne gets his panties in a wad and his vagina hurts week 1? Are you drafting a running back? Are you going to trade up to pick 1 next year to get a fucking running back?
If you don't have any holes, again, I think our 2 biggest holes are corner and running back. So I think
receivers.
We have Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley.
Is that where Emmanuel Sanders went?
Yep. Diggs. We have Gabriel Davis. We're fine there. It's just Sanders is on a 1-year deal, so we're going to need one of them.
Tight end.
We do need a tight end, but not in the first round, or the second round. We'll take one in the third.
Why?
Because we can go get Javonte Williams in the second.
I can draft me another third round running back.
No, second. This is where we make it better. We're learning from our mistakes. And if he doesn't work out, first round next year, baby, we're okay. We'll work our way up. It is what it is.
Pretty donkey.
I mean, that's basically all of the picks that really matter. But again, we're very, very fantasy centric. I know a lot more about fantasy football than I do about actual NFL football.
No, I say that. I don't know about that.
That's facts, just straight facts. So, I mean, when you're looking at all of the picks and everyone we discussed, Who would you think is going to be like the most valuable fantasy asset? Like right as soon as they get drafted, day one, first game, week one, who is going to be? Honestly, you could just say like who's going to be the most important to fantasy football?
It's not even a debate.
Oh yeah, because
well, actually,
know where he's going.
It's a debate. I think 1A, Jamar Chase, and just because position eligibility, Kyle Pitts. They're not even
important.
They're not even close to the field on that. But so yeah, I mean, I guess if you frame it that way, probably Kyle Pitts is most important to fantasy, but I mean, Jamar Chase's numbers are going to be fucking, off the charts. He's going to be, you might as well. Joe Burrow should probably be quarterback one this year in most fantasy drafts. Even I can't say that with a straight face. No, but they should be fucking loaded with T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase. Those two guys will limit his upside, Jamar Chase, but I still think he goes absolutely fucking nuclear. 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns.
See, I'm leaning the other way, kind of the aforementioned running back approach. I think whoever goes to Pittsburgh, it sounds crazy, but I think whoever goes to Pittsburgh is going to be the number. They're always a run-heavy team. It's what?
So they can hurt their leg week one.
Hey, not everyone is James Conner. It was James Conner with a history. Le'Veon Bell was perfectly fine. And they feed. They don't like split backfields. Tomlinson is just, you're the guy. And if you take round one, if you're giving me Najee Harris or Travis Etienne, whoever's there between those two.
When have they last done you're the guy, though?
They don't like committees. When's the last time Pittsburgh did a committee?
This year.
Because James Conner got hurt.
They're all, but I mean, it was Anthony McFarland one game, Jalen Samuels another game, Benny Snell Jr. another game. They ran out.
Conner got hurt. They didn't want to do that. That wasn't their approach. James Conner got hurt early. That's not what they wanted to do.
So once you get past, once Najee Harris gets hurt, then they'll go back into the committee.
He's not going to get hurt. Or at least he can make it 12. He needs to make it 12 weeks because no running back plays all 16 games. So you give me like 11 straight.
Don't tell that to Frank Gore, baby.
That's true. Well, he has he retired? God knows. We'll never know. He'll never retire.
He's going to be the Buffalo Bills pickup.
He's already been. So it doesn't count.
He hasn't made a trip to Cincinnati.
He's got to make it over to be the backup for. I heard Gio's gone. They need someone to fill that Gio role, and if I could get Frank Gore, baby, that's your missing piece.
We could get Frank Gore as our 2 and Frank Gore Jr. as our 3.
Gotcha. I mean, just to finish it up,
off into the distance.
I know that what was that?
Your baby crying? You're like walking off into the distance.
Well, the door opened, but my wife doesn't bring me in food when it's time to do this. This was a where are you ordeal. So we're going to wrap this bad boy up, but I got some questions for you first with the draft. And just in regards to props, I know you were looking some up. I also looked some up. Tell me your thoughts on these. I got the first running back drafted. We got Najee Harris at -200. We have Travis Etienne at even money. And then we have Javonte Williams at +300. Any of those seem like valuable bets to you?
No.
You think Travis and Najee are too close?
Listen to this. I don't make any bets that aren't locks. I'm not going to advise our listeners to put their American dollars on the Steelers falling in love with Najee Harris because they could fall in love with Travis Etienne easily. Okay. I'm only going to give you locks, people. So hopefully in these next couple of questions, I can provide you a lock.
And I know you love locks, but I'm a dog chaser. So look at this one. We got the third overall pick. We got Mac Jones at -275. We got Trey Lance at plus money at +125. And your boy, who you think it is, Justin Fields at +350. Is it worth the shot?
I think it should be.
Do you think it's worth the shot? We got Trey Lance and Justin Fields at plus money.
I would not. I'm not playing roulette.
Okay. All right. Then one last one for you. First drafted wide receiver. Jamar Chase, minus 800. Jalen Waddle, plus 550. Apparently someone I'm going to have to draft it.
Wait, minus 800? Yes. My God.
Yes. Devonta Smith at plus 650 and Rashad Bateman at plus 3,500. I mean, the clear answer is you just, I mean, are you going to take the chalk?
Just take Jamar Chase under 5.5. That is your lock, people. Get your bank account up. Get your app. Hold on. I got my Huntington app ready to go. Hold on. And what else? Fidelity, 401k. All of it. Jamar Chase, under 5.
All right. I'll leave it at that. Ladies and gents, that's Stats and Stacks. That is your 2021 NFL Draft. Let's get paid, baby. Thanks for coming on, Tyler.
Peace.